A beautiful woman named Holly is a talented paparazzi. From close range, she can take pictures of celebrities without anyone noticing her. However, there is one person who can see her, a security guard. With no way to escape, Holly is immediately caught. Before this strange phenomenon happened, young Holly seemed like any other teenager. During breakfast, her older sister Vanessa and her younger brother Troy were so busy chatting that they forgot to pass her any food. Even their father started eating without realizing Holly's plate was still empty. Only their mother noticed and handed Holly a plate of food, making her feel seen. One day, her mother gave her a kaleidoscope toy that displayed unique images when rotated. Holly was overjoyed with the gift. However, that happiness quickly turned into sorrow when her mother fell ill and eventually passed away. From that moment on, Holly began to fade, as if her existence was ignored. Her siblings even erased her name from the board in her room. During family dinner, her father only asked about Vanessa and Troy, as if Holly wasn't there. Even at school, teachers ignored her questions. Until the next day, Holly completely disappeared from the world. She tried to talk to her father and siblings, but no one responded. When they took a family photo together, Holly realized she didn't appear in the picture. At first, she thought it was just a joke, but after seeing that her room had been turned into a storage space, she came to a painful realization. No one remembered her. A few years later, Holly was forced to adapt to her new life as an invisible figure. She lived in an apartment and avoided interactions with neighbors. To survive, she worked as a paparazzi, exposing celebrity scandals, especially affairs. One night, Holly received a tip that a famous celebrity named Bobby was at an entertainment venue. Without difficulty, she boarded a bus undetected by the driver or other passengers. Upon arrival, Holly sat and waited patiently. After a long wait, Bobby was finally spotted cheating with an escort in a private room. Wasting no time, Holly quickly took pictures of the scandal. She sent the photos to a newspaper producer, Gotcha, and the next day Bobby became the headline, "Caught in an Affair." In her routine as an invisible paparazzi, Holly regularly visited her family to check on them. Her father was still busy with his real estate business, while Vanessa was now married. Meanwhile, Troy spent most of his time unemployed, making videos in the basement, recording various women's feet as they passed by. Although being invisible gives her an advantage in her job, Holly often feels lonely because she cannot interact directly with anyone. One night, while tailing a celebrity at an entertainment venue, a security guard named Shane suddenly sees her. Shocked, Holly pretends not to hear when Shane calls out to her. However, when Shane grabs her hand and leads her out through the back door, she is even more stunned. Thinking she has returned to normal, Holly tries testing her existence by speaking to other people. But the result remains the same. No one can see or hear her except Shane. The next day, excited, Holly tells her mother, even though she knows her mother can't see her, about a man who can recognize her existence. However, when Holly digs deeper into Shane's past, she realizes that he is one of the victims of her paparazzi work. Shane was once a famous former world champion in mixed martial arts. However, when photos of his affair were leaked to the public, his career was ruined. His girlfriend, a supermodel named Juliana, left him, and Shane was forced to work as a security guard to survive. The following night, Holly meets Shane and confesses that she was the one who took those photos. Hearing her confession, Shane becomes furious and demands that Holly stay away from him. However, Holly promises to make up for her mistake by helping him rebuild his career. Shane responds cynically, thinking Holly is joking. But when he meets with his manager to discuss a new fight offer, Holly secretly listens in. When the manager mentions that the payment for the fight is $800, Holly notices a text on his phone that actually states $15,000. Holly informs Shane about the difference in numbers, and Shane attempts to negotiate for a higher fee. To his surprise, his manager immediately agrees to the higher amount. After this meeting, Shane starts to believe that he is the only one who can see Holly. However, to confirm it further, Holly stands in the middle of the road, directly in front of an oncoming car. Panicked, Shane pulls her to the side and asks the driver to scold Holly. But the driver looks confused, claiming that no one was there. Confused and intrigued, Shane finally asks Holly to come to his apartment the next day so they can discuss the situation further. The next morning, Holly arrives at Shane's apartment, and even his pet dog fails to notice her presence. After a long conversation, Holly convinces Shane that if she can help him rebuild his career, maybe the strange curse on her will be broken. Shane then shares his childhood story with Holly, and as a start, he invites her to watch his non-professional fight. However, Shane only earns $300 for it. Holly promises to find him a professional-level fight, but Shane remains pessimistic. He feels that his name no longer holds weight and that no one would want to fight him. After returning to her apartment, Holly researches professional fighters who could be a good match for Shane. She settles on Suarez, a fighter who was previously reported for using illegal steroids. The next morning, Holly sneaks into Suarez's house and takes photographic evidence of his steroid use. She then uses the photos to blackmail Suarez into accepting a fight against Shane. When Holly meets Shane to share the news, Shane suddenly asks when she first became invisible to others. Their conversation brings them closer. Shortly after, Shane receives a call from his manager confirming that Suarez has agreed to fight him in 6 weeks. Shane is thrilled and curious about how Holly arranged it, but she simply asks him to focus on training while she handles the rest. News of Shane's return to professional fighting after 5 years spreads rapidly. Many doubt his abilities and believe he will lose. However, Shane ignores all the comments and remains focused on training, with Holly by his side, supporting him. One night, Holly reveals that she cannot watch the fight in person because she was once injured in the middle of a crowd. On the day of the match, Holly chooses to watch from Shane's apartment via television. On her way there, she borrows a passenger's lipstick on the bus to put on a little makeup. At the arena, the fight is intense. A fierce exchange of blows occurs between Shane and Suarez. As the final round approaches, Shane successfully executes a submission hold, forcing Suarez to surrender. After the fight, Shane is interviewed by top media outlets. One reporter asks why he isn't throwing a big victory party, to which Shane simply replies that he prefers to celebrate in a simple way at his apartment. Holly, who had been waiting for Shane's arrival, was then invited to the rooftop. Under the moonlight, Shane brought a mat and some snacks. During their conversation, Shane asked if Holly was merely a figment of his imagination. The question offended Holly, but Shane gently stroked her head, apologized, and then kissed her. Unbeknownst to them, a journalist was watching from a distance and managed to take a photo of the two. The journalist quickly fled when Shane tried to chase after him. However, Holly reassured Shane that her image wouldn't appear in the photo. Unfortunately, Shane was more concerned because the rooftop door couldn't be opened from the outside. They had no choice but to spend the night there. That night, for the first time, Holly felt the warmth of a man's embrace. The moment brought them even closer, leading to deeper intimacy. The next morning, Holly returned to her apartment, only to be shocked by the news of Shane kissing someone, because her figure was visible in the photo. Though faint and shadow-like, it indicated that she was starting to become real again. A few weeks later, Shane prepared for his second fight against a formidable fighter named Tommy. When asked by reporters about the woman in the kissing photo, Shane chose not to comment. Meanwhile, Holly sneaked into Tommy's car and threatened him to lose the match against Shane. She promised to expose his secret affair if he refused to comply. That night, Holly met Shane and discussed her appearance in the photo. They were happy about this change, but their moment was interrupted by a call from Juliana, Shane's ex, who congratulated him on his victory. A few days later, Shane's fight against Tommy took place. From the start, Tommy subtly signaled to Shane that he would throw the match. The public was shocked when Shane won with ease, further cementing his comeback. Afterward, Holly sent false information to a producer, claiming that Shane would fight the current #1 fighter, Attila. To ensure Shane's victory, Holly sneaked into Attila's house, hoping to find something that could be used against him. However, her efforts were in vain. There were no scandals or wrongdoings to exploit. While relaxing at home, Holly received information that Juliana was on a date with a man at an exclusive venue. Curious, she rushed there and was stunned to see that the man was Shane. Shane looked equally shocked, while Juliana asked whom he was talking to as she couldn't see Holly. Without taking any photos, Holly walked away, but Shane chased after her. Holly demanded an explanation from Shane about what their relationship meant after that night. She warned him that Juliana only returned because he was becoming famous again. However, Shane responded rationally, saying that he didn't want to be seen as crazy for being in a relationship with an invisible woman. His words pierced Holly's heart. Bitterly, she admitted that Attila had no scandals, making Shane realize that his victories had all been the result of cheating. Hearing this, Shane was furious. He felt betrayed and told Holly to leave his life, sarcastically suggesting that she would always look for faults in others. Days passed, and Holly resumed her work as a paparazzi. However, she gradually started to feel that what she had been doing was wrong. Meanwhile, Shane rekindled his relationship with Juliana. Seeing the news, Holly's heart shattered even more. She locked herself in her apartment, drowning in sadness and alcohol. Unexpectedly, Shane came to see her. He admitted that the photo of his affair, which Holly had taken years ago, wasn't the real reason his career and love life fell apart. According to Shane, it was his own arrogance that destroyed him. He had become lazy in training when he was at the peak of his career. Meanwhile, Juliana had also been unfaithful, and they had already agreed to break up before the photo was leaked. Hearing this painful truth, Holly felt even more broken. Shane tried to console her, but she pushed him away. Before leaving, Shane asked her to come to his next fight. In her anger, Holly smashed the kaleidoscope her mother had left behind, shattering it into pieces. The next morning, Holly realized that she could no longer see herself in the mirror. She had completely disappeared. To confirm her state, she went to Shane's training center. But her worst fear was realized. Shane could no longer see or hear her. Feeling utterly lost, Holly wandered aimlessly. She was angry at her mother, who had once promised that she would always be there when Holly needed her. A while later, Holly visited her father, brother, and sister to say goodbye. She was convinced that she would soon vanish entirely. As she followed her father, Holly noticed that he too had not been able to move on from her late mother. That moment made her smile one last time. Before leaving, Holly apologized for all the negative thoughts she had held onto for so long. Unexpectedly, her father suddenly felt a presence beside him, as if he sensed Holly's existence. As she walked away, Holly reached into her pocket and remembered that Shane's fight was tonight. Although she had promised herself never to be in the middle of a crowd again, this time she gathered the courage to support Shane up close. The match between Shane and Attila began. From the start, Shane took more punches and kicks from his opponent. At ringside, Juliana, who was supposed to cheer for Shane, was more preoccupied with her own fans. Having arrived at the arena, Holly boldly entered the ring to encourage Shane. Unfortunately, he couldn't see her. But when Holly sincerely held Shane's hand and cheered him on, a miracle happened. Shane could see her again. Not only that, but everyone in the arena could see Holly as well, signaling that the curse that had made her invisible had finally been broken. A security guard tried to pull Holly out of the ring, while Shane got back on his feet and began fighting back against Attila. Shane managed to lock Attila in place, but time ran out before he could finish the match. Due to the point calculation, Shane ultimately lost. Before chasing after Holly, Shane decided to end things with Juliana. Without wasting any time, Juliana immediately found a replacement for Shane, proving that her feelings had never been genuine. Meanwhile, Shane asked the security guard to release Holly, then sincerely thanked her for coming. Her presence meant everything to him, making him realize who had truly been there for him all along. In an emotional moment, Shane revealed that he and Juliana were officially over, then confessed his feelings to Holly. They became a couple. The next day, Holly visited her father, who was placing some items in his car's trunk. Her father hesitated upon seeing the young woman standing before him. However, memories gradually returned to him. With eyes welling up with tears, he finally recognized her, his daughter, Holly. The film ended with father and daughter embracing, signifying that Holly had truly returned to the real world and found her place. Thank you for watching this video. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and see you in the next video.